Elon Musk has officially taken control of Twitter and fired its top executives. The US media has reported that the deal is done. The top platform for global discourse is now in the hands of the world's richest man. Elon Musk sacked Chief Executive Officer, the CEO of Twitter, Parag Agrawal, as well as the company's Chief Financial Officer, as well as the head of the company's legal policy. Now, Elon Musk has tried to step back from the Twitter deal earlier in April. However, in July, he said he's cancelling the contract because he was misled by Twitter over bots, something that the company, in fact, rejected. Twitter, in turn, sought to prove that Musk was contriving excuses to simply walk away from the deal because he changed his mind. After Elon Musk sought to terminate the sale, Twitter went ahead and filed a lawsuit, remember, to hold Elon Musk accountable to the agreement. With a trial looming, the unpredictable billionaire then revived his takeover plan. So that's how this entire episode has panned out. What does this mean for India is, of course, the big question, because remember, India is Twitter's largest market. Twitter and the Indian government don't see eye to eye over several matters, including compliance over the new IT rules. Musk's track record with India is also questionable. There have been several back and forths between Elon Musk and the government of India in the past over Tesla. So what does this essentially mean for India? Let's go right across to NDTV's Rubina Mongia tracking the details of the story. So Rubina, the deal is done.
Yes, it's a big day for Twitter and big day for social media. The Elon Musk and Twitter saga that began with the Tesla billionaire shoring up stock in the social platform and raising stock prices, a series of emojis and a deal that almost became a meme has finally culminated in his takeover of the platform after Musk walked into the Twitter office with a bathroom sink in hand. Now, Elon Musk is now expected to take over as CEO of Twitter, and day one has been a bloodbath for existing executives. As Musk took over the platform, he has immediately fired the current CEO Parag Agrawal, CFO Ned Segal, legal and policy head Vijay, as well as Sean Edgett, the legal counsel. Now, yesterday, Musk also took to Twitter and issued a statement to advertisers saying that his goal is to help humanity and that money is not his motivation. Twitter can't become a free-for-all hellscape, and he wants Twitter to become the most respected advertising platform in the world. Now, Musk has previously taken aim at existing executives for having a left-leaning bias. Earlier this week, Musk said that he was buying the company to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner. Musk's takeover raises questions over his plans to increase profitability in an increasingly volatile economic climate for the advertising agency. Elon has previously talked about cutting staff by about 75%, though he has since reneged on that statement. Regardless, job cuts still remain on the table. Musk has also talked about pivoting the company to create X, a WeChat-like platform that would serve as a one-stop shop for all communications, services and payments that looks like a Twitter makeover. It is also believed that he will allow Donald Trump back on the platform as part of the bid to reverse lifetime bans, change moderation on Twitter, and to create a level platform for speech. Moreover, Musk has also suggested that the governments and companies might be charged to stay on the platform. Now, completing his acquisition, Musk tweeted saying that Bird is freed. The New York Stock Exchange, however, seems to disagree, as it has placed a trading ban on the company's stock today. Rishika.
All right, thanks very much, Rubina, for joining us with all that latest information. Let's now go right across to Kanish Gaur. He is a technology expert. We also have Jitin Jain, cyber expert, joining us. Thanks very much for being with us on NDTV. Jitin, to you first. This is something that's been in the offing for a while. The deal is finally done, and there's been a huge shake-up as far as the top brass of Twitter is concerned. How do you look at these developments?
No, it's not surprising, because Elon was very clear in last 6 months that if he takes over Twitter at any stage, there will be a great deal of changes on policy, product and safety side. So on policy, he was very clear that Twitter cannot be the moderator and sit in the judgment over the lifetime bans. And he was very clear that if he takes over Twitter, he will allow Donald Trump to come back. Though it's a different case whether Donald will come or not, because he has his own Truth Social platform now. But you see, Alan has been very clear that Twitter has to be a very healthy debating platform, like a public town square, where there should be not a very strong left-leaning bias or a right-wing, bias. There has to be a platform for debates and divergence of ideas. But it cannot be a platform for creating lawless societies or taking on the governments. And on that side, I think it's very critical when he says that he's going to make Twitter law enforcement compliant in most of the countries where Twitter was running into confrontation, like in South Africa,
Right.
many US and India also. Second very important thing is that, see, he's going to target spam and bots. So that is going to reduce the problem of trolling, abusive spam, and that is also going to increase the more revenue for advertisers. Third, I think the most critical thing, I think he's going to bring a lot of additional features like edit longer videos, and it is going to make Twitter like a WeChat platform, like, he's already said, where payments might come in, video sharing might come in, social networking might come in. So I think on both policy and product sides, there are going to be significant changes.
Okay. So changes expected, sweeping changes expected, both in policy and product. That's what Jitin anticipates. Kanish Gaur, if I can come to you at the moment, the big question for us here in India is what does this mean for us? I mean, we've seen that the government of India and Twitter have had a complicated relationship. There have been several compliance issues over the new IT rules. Elon Musk and India also share a complicated relationship. When it's come to Tesla and the exchanges in the past. How do you see this takeover impacting relations with India?
So I think there will be a positive sentiment. We will see better trust and safety features, specifically on Twitter, compliance to Indian IT laws. We have seen that there have been a tough war which has gone between Twitter and the government. That situation is going to change. We will also see significant reduction in the number of bots which have been operating on Twitter, and which Elon Musk has also criticized the platform about. So that's going to be a big change. I would see that there would be an increase in the number of people who are employed at Twitter in India.
Right.
Currently, there are close to 100 people who work at Twitter India, and they have a very small team. But with more focus on policy, trust, safety, government relations, we would see that the number of people who are employed specifically for Indian market is going to increase. India is, of course, one of the largest markets for Twitter, but the number of people who work and who support this market are relatively low. And because of which there have been issues in terms of response from the organization. So that is going to change. We also would see that the left leaning is going to change. Elon Musk has spoken about more freedom of expression, trust, safety on the platform. So that is going to be a big element. We also heard Elon Musk talk about Twitter Blue, which is an application which is currently not available in India. It's a commercial version of Twitter. So Twitter Blue should be something which Elon Musk will look at taking globally outside the US, and India could be one such market. So those are going to be significant changes. The biggest aspect is going to be commercialization of Twitter. How do you create more profitability, more growth from Twitter as a platform? Like you've seen that WeChat has multiple functionalities and features. So aspects such as hypercommerce, aspects such as more of marketing on Twitter, more of influencers. So you will see that Twitter is going to be like platforms like YouTube or Facebook, which there are more advertisers, there are more influencers, rather than just people who were talking about free speech. So that is going to be a big shift. So you will see Twitter will have a different.
Well, that essentially changes the nature of Twitter to a great extent, doesn't it? Jitin Jain, the other big question, of course, is hate speech, and that has been one of the key issues here in India as well. Elon Musk has said that he's going to make the space freer. Can we expect there to be a bigger crackdown on hate speech?
I think there is going to be a great extent of free speech, but there's going to be very strict curbs on hate speech. Both are two very different things. It's already very clear. Anything which falls foul of law of a local land will be restricted, and hate speech is one of those things. Free speech, in the sense, it means the clash of political ideologies, debating different ideas. For example, asking Donald Trump to come back, because banning a sitting U.S. president for life was an arbitrary decision without any law enforcement action or executive order or a judicial verdict. I think those things is what he's going to look at in terms of free speech. But as far as somebody is trying to abuse or giving death threats or all these things which have been prevailing on Twitter because of bots, I think they are going to be reduced because he's going to take away the bots.
Right. Your views on this? Because like I said, as far as the common man is concerned, I mean, there are several questions over inaction over hate speech or, selective action over hate speech. We've seen several of these issues being highlighted. Kanish Gaur, do you expect things to change in this regard?
Absolutely. Elon Musk spoke about the shadow council, which was having a specific bias in terms of taking down certain requests and not responding to other requests and leaning more left. So with this, we would see there would be greater changes, specifically certain algorithms which have been operating in the back end and which have been more left-leaning. That is going to change. And Elon Musk has spoken about changing the algorithms to make it more, friendly for people to operate and create more freedom of speech. So that is going to be there. That's going to be a big change. We will also see that following the laws, and Twitter was criticized by Elon Musk of not following Indian laws. That is going to be another element. So you would see greater emphasis of Twitter following the intermediary guidelines, significant social media intermediary guidelines, which is one aspect which it is compliant, appointing of chief compliance officers, chief legal officers, which Twitter has already done, but greater support to Indian laws is going to be a key element. You'll also see that there could be more, Twitter as a platform could have more role to play. Today, most of Indian politicians, bureaucrats, they use Twitter. But how Twitter can be used for greater good of the society, that is an element that needs to be further explored.
Okay.
And with Elon Musk taking over, I think that is something which is we will see. Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, Jiten Jain, before we wrap up, I just also want you to briefly touch upon the fact that India is, and the reason I keep bringing up the India angle is because India is Twitter's biggest market, as it is for any other, social media giant. So, I mean, there was a lot of positive sentiment when Parag Agrawal, for instance, took over Twitter, etc. But, how do you expect things to change? And what is the kind of importance that will be accorded to a relationship with India as far as Elon Musk's scheme of things are concerned?
See, India is a big market of Twitter in terms of users, but not in terms of revenue. So for him, India is going to be a significant factor if he can commercialize Twitter, and India can contribute significantly to the Twitter revenue. See, Rishika, there is going to be a grand rise of a new internet behemoth in the world, which is going to be, Starlink, the biggest internet service provider in the world in the years to come. Now, the same company, if they have a portfolio of bigger social media platform, I think they are going to compete with Google, Apple, and Meta. So in that context, I think, yes, India is going to be a significant market, but only if you can commercialize those Twitter services.
So commercialization of Twitter really is going to be one of the key things to watch out for. How that changes the nature of the world's largest public discourse platform, I think, is a big question that needs to be answered. Because remember, narratives are set on Twitter, narratives are made on Twitter, information is disseminated on Twitter and consumed on Twitter by not just the media but also by the public at large. So how does the dynamics of all of that change now? It's going to be very interesting.
He tweeted about Twitter being the new age media platform. So I think the bigger challenge is going to be the mainstream media channels also. So keep a watch out for that.
Right. So I think we have to up our game and play catch up. I think that's what you're trying to say. But I think interesting that you said that, both in terms of policy and product, Twitter will change. So for all those of you who are averse to any kind of change, well, you have to brace yourselves for impact. Thanks very much, Kanish Gaur and Jiten Jain, for joining us. It's a fascinating development that's taken place. There's so much to now look at, what happens in terms of policy, product, commercialization, relationship with India, IT rules, compliance, etc. A story we'll continue to track here very closely.